Hi guys, welcome to Fly Fishing World's YouTube channel. I'm going to tie a sort of cross between a Czech Nymph and a sort of modern day CDC type nymph. For that I've got in the hook. The hook's a size 10 Czech Nymph Barbless fully mill hook. On that I've got a 3.8mm Bidoz copper tungsten bead. It's slotted, which doesn't really make any difference on a hook this shape. What I'm going to use is black thread, that's a sheer Whisp. I'm going to use some Siman magic shrimp foil, cinnamon, which is my favourite. I'm going to use some hot orange dubbing, some Squirrel, and a little bit of UV dubbing at Thorax. So I'm going to use a fox squirrel mainly for the main body of the fly. This shrimp is actually without the bead, without the hackle, is probably one of my top flies. So we're going to start off by just running the thread down the body, keep it going and trim it. And then we're going to go back up. And then we're just going to lip finish. Now the reason I've put a layer of thread on is because I'm going to also put lead on this because I want it to be quite heavy. So for that I'm using the Veniards lead. It's a small stuff, 0.4mm. So just take a piece of lead off. The thread will help it grip and just wind it. I've got a bit of a gap there, just take it back off and then go again. And we're not going to take it right up to the bead, we're going to take it just before the bead, just there, and pull. And just nip that one off as well. Okay, so that's it, it's leaded up. So now we're going to take the thread back on. And I'm going to put quite a lot of wraps of thread along the back of the lead. Oops. The video camera's too close. Keep going. Keep going. Right, now for the rib, you could use wire, but I prefer to use nylon to be quite honest, so I'm just going to use a clear nylon. Any nylon that's quite thin and clear. That's about 0.12mm. So about £3, £4 nylon maybe. And then just tie that off. Now we're going to tie in the shellback. Now, like when the hair's your hotspot, the shellback's got two different sides to it. It's got a shiny side and it's got a dull side. Some people prefer the dull, some people prefer the shiny. I'm going to use the shiny side. So you must tie it in, obviously, with the dull side facing up if you're going to use the shiny side. Just catch it in. Just past the bend and then just back up, keep wrapping. Okay, now we're going to wax the thread and get some wax on there. Then get the squirrel, dub it on. I'm going to need a bit more. Okay, then just wrap that on. Just using your finger to push it. Okay, now I'm going to get some hot orange dubbing. Now, I'm just using my own stuff, but you can use anything to be honest, sealed for a sub. I just like this colour. Right, it's a bit of hot orange. Same again, tie it in so it's a spot. Work it with your fingers. And a bit more wax. And the last bit of squirrel. And just wrap that on. just keep pushing. Now, there's obviously a little gap at the back where the bead is, which is what we want. So use your fingers and push down, and then you get the little legs. Now with the shellback, just pull it over. Don't pull it too tight. Obviously if you pull it too tight, then it's going to be thinner and narrower. Tie it in and just trim. At this point I always like to whip finish, because now that I've trimmed the shellback, it's very difficult to get it back on if it pings loose. You can see there. Now get your nylon rib, and just, you can see I'm actually moving it about so it's not trapping too many of the fibres, because if you've got to use a needle to pull some of the fibres out, you can quite easily pull the rib out. So better to do it at this point, get it the way you want it, and catch it in. Same again, 4 or 5 wraps of thread and trim. Now I'll finish this as well, just to make sure it doesn't come loose. At this point you could do a dubbing loop if you wanted, but I don't bother with dubbing loops. Too much hassle, too much time. Nice decent sized CDC feather. Take it from the tip and just gently pull the fibres down towards the end of the feather. That exposes the tip. Catch that in and then trim it. I deliberately left a little bit, you can see there's a little bit just hanging down. That's just because sometimes when you do pull the feather, it slips out. So I like to leave a little bit. Just catch the feather with a whip finish tool. It's whip finish tool, Hackle pliers. Now I'm talking nonsense. And 2 or 3 wraps until some people prefer it to have less CDC, some people prefer flies to have more CDC. It's just whatever you feel like. Tie it off and trim. Now I'm going to push the CDC round before I actually finish. That way I can catch it into the position I want. Right, and I've put a sort of wrap of thread further back on the CDC. That pulls it down. Now it's pretty long there. For me personally, it's probably too long. So what I'll do is I'll just brush them all back gently, get them to where I want them, and just rip it off, just like I would do with my marabou. Then that gives me the length I'm looking for. Okay, last but not least, bit of hare's ear plus young Siman dubbing. Hopefully I'll have some more of this in stock soon. You could use the Squirrel again, or you can use it whatever you fancy, but I do like the chocolate dubbing, to be honest. Same again, get your varnish ready so that it's off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then get the bottle, just one swipe up and you'll get a bit of varnish in between the 2 pieces of thread. Lift it up, drop it down, you see a bit of varnish dropping in, just move it about and then pull tight. There you go guys, very buggy looking fly. I hope you enjoy it. You can get all the materials at Fly Fishing